Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well as we dive into the nitty gritty. We've actually got quite a big topic to discuss and I'm afraid I have some bad news. But before we get to the bad news, let's start with the good news, yeah? I got a few things for you. Firstly, make sure you hit the link in the description. Head straight to the Megastore. You're Chelsea fans, I'm sure most of you watching are. You can go and get discounts at a big level. Why? Because Black Friday is approaching. There is a current big discount going on. And today, the code to use on the website is CFCBF. I've said that again, CFCBF. For up to 50%, I think some more. There's all sorts going on over there. So make sure you head into the link in the description, Chelsea Megastore, go over there and go crazy with all your Esteval and Cole Palmer merch, etc. for discounted prices. You might as well. So enjoy. Secondly, you can go and get my merch. Younes Talks Football. Yeah, my own t-shirts, my own merchandise, my own festive jumpers, which are limited and they're going to sell out real soon. So make sure you head to that link in the description as well. And Shootout, where the Champions League roundup from yesterday and the day before has already been done. That was uploaded today. So go and have a look at what me and George have to say, not only on Chelsea-Barca with some extended analysis, but also all the other games and the chaos that took place throughout the last couple of days, especially yesterday with Liverpool and Arsenal and Tottenham and all of that. And we've also got the Premier League predictions tomorrow, where you're going to get your first glimpse into what me and George have to say about Chelsea versus Arsenal before we put our individual previews on our channel. So before Saturday, where the preview comes, tomorrow, you're going to get a glimpse of what we think. So make sure you're subscribed over there, and I'll be doing the watch along on Sunday for Chelsea versus Arsenal. So make sure you're there. Much appreciated. Now, let's get to the bad news. We started with the good. Yeah, I sorted you out. You guys are really happy. And now I've got to bring you back down to earth. Yeah. Let's get into what has happened and what has happened around the whole Chelsea Stadium saga. Let's hear from the Earls Court Development Company themselves. Here it is. It was a proud moment last night as the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham's Planning Committee unanimously resolved to grant permission for its part of the Earls Court Master Plan, a major milestone shaped through years of collaboration with residents, community groups and local partners. We're creating an inclusive new neighbourhood for West London with 4,000 homes, 12,000 jobs, 3 cultural venues, 20 acres of public realm and green space, 2.5 million square feet of climate innovation work space. Design excellence runs throughout the proposals. The first affordable homes in LBHF are designed by Sterling Prize winners, and our award-winning Public Realm Inclusivity panel has set a new benchmark for accessible, inclusive public space. Thank you to everyone involved and to the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham for its careful consideration. We now look ahead to the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea committee next month and remain ready to move at pace subject to approval in both boroughs. Basically, let me help explain this, right? So, the Earls Court Development Plan has 2 boroughs that need to approve it. One has been approved. And there's no reason for the next one to not. There really isn't. Yeah. The Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham has approved it. Now, Kensington and Chelsea are probably 99% sure of approving it too. Which means that once that happens, it's officially impossible for Chelsea to acquire the site. Game over. So I don't understand what I'm about to read to you. And I don't know where this one's coming from. How is it that there is still a remote possibility? Let me help explain this to all of you. So here's what the Telegraph have said. Chelsea are still considering all options, including a move to Earls Court, with the club declining to comment on the situation regarding their stadium. They also go on to say a source suggested to the Telegraph that the green light from Hammersmith and Fulham Council could, in theory, make it easier if Chelsea or anybody else wanted to buy the entire site and amend the plans. This is where I don't understand. But they've approved the Earls Court development plan. That's what they've approved. They've not approved a stadium. I don't understand how this is... Unless they're looking from the lens of, oh, so the borough are more than happy to approve a new plan. And if they're more than happy to approve this plan, then they'll be more than happy to approve a stadium. If that's what they're thinking, then I got to be honest. Personally, I think that's just a little bit naive based on the time. Because we've still not done anything or said anything in regards to a new stadium. You can't just rock up to Earls Court and be like, okay, no, by the way, guys, we're going to buy it. So shut up. Okay, here you go, take it. Nice, it's ours. And all right, now we're gonna tell you our plan, which no one knows a thing about. But we're gonna tell you we want to build a stadium. It's gonna get approved, and everything's all gonna be lovely jubbly. That's just not the case. The only element that I can see what this might mean that I've read to you is that this is a sign and a signal that the council are happy to approve a new plan, which they're going to anyway, surely, because let's be honest, right now it's a site full of rubble. It's a site just full of nothing. It's just land. Well, they're gonna want something built on it. Do you know what I mean? This plan has taken years to assemble. The Earls Court redevelopment plan has been years in the making. Years. I remember hearing about this long time ago. From the time that Earls Court got demolished, like the old Earls Court, there was an Earls Court, there was an exhibition centre there. That got demolished. From as soon as that was demolished, there was whispers about the redevelopment plan. And only now they've got the council to approve. Whilst we've still heard nothing, even one detail on what a new stadium could be. We have no idea. Nothing's been said. The CPO still haven't been told. They're the biggest stakeholders here, you know? So I don't understand. Now, let me continue to read. So here's from Matt Law. Chelsea have not struck Earls Court off their list of new stadium options, despite council chiefs giving the green light to a £10 billion housing and retail development scheme on the site. And that's one of the councils. If the second council comes along, then it's a wrap. Game over. So... like I've told you before, I don't think Earls Court's happening. No chance. No chance. Now I'm just talking about my own personal opinion. We've heard nothing. No one's been consulted. The CPO haven't been notified. The CPO are waiting. As far as I know, the CPO, but like I've explained before, the CPO aren't just this little group of people that are trying to sabotage things. The CPO are the Chelsea pitch owners, which are thousands and thousands and thousands of Chelsea fans, ex-players and ex-managers and personnel that all own part of the pitch at Stamford Bridge. That's it. That's what the CPO is. Now, the CPO has designated members that run the group and are in charge of the interests of the CPO, right? They've not been told anything. They've not been told a proposal. They've not been told of a plan. They've not been told of a detail. They've not been told of what the club want to do. There's nothing. So how the hell are we going to knock up to Earls Court and go, yeah, by the way, we want to buy the site? With what? What's the plan? No one knows. But my fear right now is if we don't take Earls Court, if we don't have a plan and we don't try and take this at the very last minute, which is going to be like, it's too late as far as I'm concerned. But if there's no Earls Court, then what do? Stay at Stamford Bridge? We know we're restricted in terms of Stamford Bridge. In fact, I've already had this detailed to me in fantastic detail by Steve. Big up to you, Steve. I know you're watching. Steve, SW6. He's explained to me in detail as an old school head as well some of the restrictions around Stamford Bridge that a lot of people don't even know about. I'll give you one example. We can't build up. We can't build up because there's a restriction in terms of how high we can go. Why? Because there's a law in place. All because of, I think it was a landmark that needs a certain view, and because of that, a building can't go above a certain height in and around that entire area of where Stamford Bridge is. It means we're limited in terms of how high we can go. But we can't dig down either. But we can't extend because of the train tracks. We can't extend because of a graveyard. The space that we have at Stamford Bridge and that vicinity and the Stoll mansions that we bought when Blueco first walked in, that's the space we have. That's what we got to work with. That's what Roman wanted to do when we wanted to build a new stadium. But even if we use all of that space, the maximum capacity that we can get to, we can dream is 60,000. That's a dream. 60 is a dream. Like the more realistic option is around 55 to 57,000 people, max. So what happens when everyone starts building 80, 90,000 capacity stadiums? Then what? Well, we got to move then eventually, haven't we? Because we can't do anything with Stamford Bridge after that. So why build a new stadium when we're going to have to waste it eventually, not in the not distant future? You know, we might as well just build something new. But the problem is now where? If it's not Earls Court, where? There's nowhere else to go in and around the area. I don't understand where we could possibly go in and around our area. We'd have to move area. But if we move area, we're going to do what Arsenal did in about 120 years ago, which is move from South London to North London and no longer be a South London club. And now they claim to be North London forever. When they started in Woolwich, you know, they didn't start in Highbury or Arsenal. They didn't start there. They didn't start in Islington. They started in Woolwich. Arsenal are a South London team originally, but, you know, they had to move. But that was 120 years ago or whatnot. I don't know how long ago it was, or a long time ago. But we would have to do the same thing. We'd have to look about for land away from our own area that represents Chelsea. We have to become Surrey or something. I don't know. You know, that's just not, that's taking the heart and soul out of it. Unless we go to, we try and take Twickenham? But that's, even Twickenham. Twickenham's a weird area. I don't know about you, but Twickenham just feels like it's so hard to get to from anywhere. It's just weird. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what we do. I really don't know what we do. Earls Court was the one that made total sense. Left, right and centre. It made total sense. Earls Court's literally right down the road. Stamford Bridge, Earls Court's right there. It would have been perfect. I don't get why we've not come up with a plan and why we've not tried to move with urgency to acquire the site. Unless if... Okay, I'm going to give one small benefit of the doubt. Unless if Chelsea have kept everything under wraps and we've got a plan to move to Earls Court instantly. And no one knows a thing. That's the only thing that I can think of that makes this possible. For us to be able to go to Earls Court and hijack the entire thing. 10 billion? Here's 10 billion. We'll buy the site. You can have Stamford Bridge. You know, I don't know. So, I would love Earls Court. But it's just not happening. It's just not happening. So what do? Well, we'd have to stay at Stamford Bridge for now. But the problem is we're going to be out-dominated by many in the near future. Many. Everton are already ahead of us. That tells you where all the other clubs are heading as well. Arsenal are ahead of us. Anfield is getting extended, if I'm not mistaken. Tottenham have a brand new spaceship stadium. Man United are going to build a new Trafford, should we say. That's already been approved and the plans are there. What are we going to take? We're going to be taken over by... We're going to be taken over from Wolves at this point. You know, they're going to pass us. And they're going to be in the Championship. We need to think logically about this. Stamford Bridge is limited. As much as I love Stamford Bridge, it's home. But we are limited. And if Earls Court is gone, I don't see what the alternative option is. That's my concern. So, let me know your thoughts. What's your thoughts? What do you think? How do you think we should move forward? I'd love to know. Let me know down below. Now, talking about shirts and Megastore and all of that, well, here's what's coming next season. Looks like what Nike are to release in the Chelsea 26-27 retro jersey next season. There we are. That, I got to be honest, that looks like from the same design from the late 80s, early 90s. And obviously the badge is a 90s badge. It's not the old 80s badge, but I love the look at this so far. It looks clean. That looks clean. Let me show you that again. That looks clean. That looks really nice. Really nice. Nike have really fixed themselves, haven't they? You lot, finally, yeah? I'm happy with you lot now. Flipping cool. If you're producing stuff like that, you're more than happy to stay. I'm more than happy to keep you here. Yeah? But it took a while, but we finally got there. All those horrendous kits that we were releasing, and now we're actually releasing proper kits. Flipping brilliant. Finally. Nike woke up. Or they changed their personnel and they actually hired real people. I don't know. Maybe AI was operating it before. I don't know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you like it? Let me know down below. But like I said, head to the Megastore link in the description. Use that code, CFCBF, and get yourself some discounts there. Now, Liverpool, yesterday, I still can't believe what went down. But at the same time, I can. Now, if you want to hear my thoughts properly on that, like I've said, you can go over to Shootout and watch that video that we've uploaded earlier on today, where I give my analysis, along with George, on what the hell went down when Liverpool lost to PSV at home 4-1. Not PSG, PSV. Eindhoven. Yes, 4-1. Okay. Well, Slot spoke today in a press conference. Said he didn't get much sleep, although he did sleep a bit, but he didn't get much sleep. And then he also reacted to that loss against PSV by saying this. Before we conceded the 3-1, we generated enough XG. You're finished. Arne Slot has decided to go down the Graham Potter. That is what he's decided to do here. Out of all the things he could have possibly chosen to say, he decided to choose the Graham Potter way. Brilliant. All we're left with to hear now is next weekend when they lose at West Ham is the lads gave everything. That's all that's left for us to hear. The boys gave everything. And if we hear that, finito. I believe he's already finito. And I said this on Shootout earlier. He's done. He is absolutely done. That third goal, by the way, was disgraceful. An absolute disgrace. In terms of defending, in terms of positioning, in terms of focus, in terms of desire, in everything. They didn't give a damn to let that goal in. They did not care. That was pathetic, yeah? And he wants to come on here and say that they generated enough XG. Oh my God. Liverpool have lost 9 games out of the last 12, and you actually want to come on and say, but we had a good XG. Oh, wow. Wow. I'm sorry, that is sackable. That's if my gaffer said that, actually, I don't even need to say if. My gaffer did say that. Yeah? My gaffer did say that at one time. We had Graham Potter. He actually did say this. He did. Oh, but the XG was good. I remember it. I remember. We've been there. Our heads were gone. Our heads were gone when we heard that. Liverpool fans, I know exactly how you lot are feeling right now. This is wild. Absolutely wild. But Arne Slot, yeah. How long has he got left? Listen, I said this on Shootout, actually. Actually, I gave my prediction on Shootout. Go and have a look at that video and you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I say. How long does Arne Slot have left? I give my answer there, so go and have a watch. Thank you very much. Now, another person all of a sudden back under pressure. Man, Maresca's living life. He just beat Barcelona. Everything's all looking good. We got Arsenal next. You know, if we beat them, then all of a sudden we're talking about the title and, yeah, big game. But this guy, check it out. Ruben Amorim will be given the full season should he get through the festive period with a good run of form. Man United want it to work with Amorim. I bet they do. Yeah, because I got to be honest, and this is also what we discussed on Shootout. The options right now are scarce. There's not many options in terms of who to go for. Who to go for. You're going to have to try and pluck someone out of their job. There's no one really available who's just sitting there. Unless you want to hire, I don't know, Mick McCarthy or Sam Allardyce. They're available, yeah. But apart from that, all the big gaffers, all the normal managers, they're all in jobs. You know, Glasner in a job, Areola in a job, you know, Fabregas in a job, even Alonso under pressure in a job. Everyone's in a job. So it's tough. I'm not surprised if they actually want to try and cling on. But even Man United, I'm sorry, what happened to them against Everton was disgraceful, and that was on Amorim. So what's going to happen this weekend? Oh boy. Anyway, like I said, Premier League predictions on Shootout tomorrow. So make sure you're all there and you'll hear exactly what I think in terms of every single game. And same with George's predictions too. So now, that's that. We'll see what happens. This weekend's going to be a very interesting one to give us confirmation on where these managers are going to be sitting, basically, come Monday. Now, talking about one manager, should we say, well, Pep Guardiola is also, weirdly enough, someone who's gone back into bad form. You know, not only did Man City lose to Newcastle, but yesterday, yes, they lost at home to Bayer Leverkusen 2-0. Unbelievable. What's happened? Everyone's just lost except us and Arsenal. Everyone's getting battered. You know, what a great week. In the Premier League, in the Champions League, everything's brilliant. Everything except for Arsenal. And funnily enough, this is ironic because we play them on Sunday, but except us two, everyone's getting battered. And I love it. It's great. I wish we can have this every single week. Manchester City. We finally might have an update on their 115. Breaking, Man City are expected to finally discover the outcome of their historic legal battle with the Premier League before Christmas. Among the accusations against the club are allegedly inflating sponsorship and revenue figures to appear more profitable than they were, failing to provide accurate financial information to the Premier League over multiple seasons, not cooperating fully with the investigation, including alleged breaches of reporting and audit requirements. Their punishment could range between points deduction or even relegation. That has come from Stefan Borson. So, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not. I'm curious. That doesn't sound good. That does not sound good whatsoever. And why? Because, okay, inflating sponsorship and all of that, I guess, you know, there are clubs that will probably try and attempt that. But failing to provide accurate information to the Premier League, and then on top of that, not cooperating with the investigation, with alleged breaches, with reporting and audit requirements. You know, unless Man City are absolutely certain, and they probably have done this legally, they probably put themselves into a position where they know they don't need to provide certain information. But this is what makes the Premier League even more suspect. Now, unless the Premier League are actually wrong, which, again, it wouldn't surprise me. But if the Premier League are wrong, yeah, that's the only way Man City get away with this. And I gotta be real. If the Premier League are wrong on this, they need to liquidate. Just end the institution. We'll start a new league, but the Premier League needs to cease. Because what is your purpose at that point? If you've got this as a blunder, then, you know, you've taken it this far and then you have nothing to show for it. Now, that would be unacceptable. So I don't think that's the case. Surely Man City have done something. Surely. And if they have, and it's any of this, then I gotta say, if Man City end up with nothing more than a slap on the wrist, it would be a disgrace. We're talking about points deduction. Well, it'll have to be a hefty one. If it's relegation, so be it. I don't think it's going to be relegation because that's not in the Premier League's interests. I mean, it's in the EFL's interests. Imagine if they get Man City fall into the Championship. Bloody hell. Man City versus Millwall. I mean, that would cook. The viewership numbers will just go flipping through the roof in terms of everyone watching Man City in the Championship. That would be great. But I guess we can, you know, send one Blue Moon team to the Championship and promote one in Coventry to the Premier League. I guess we can do that. Big up Frank Lampard. They're going to get promoted, so it's all right. We won't lose any colour. Let's just say that. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So let's wait and see. We could have all this before Christmas. There's not long left. It's a month. Let the games begin. So let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated on everything that I've discussed. Like I've said, hit all the links in the description that I've told you guys about. Much appreciated for all of you doing that. Thank you all so much. I'll see all of you tomorrow for what could be a double, but I'll see you tomorrow for sure. And I'll also see you on Shootout for our Premier League predictions. So I'll catch all of you there. Have a good one, people. Look after yourself. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.